And we have some tips to help you hire a contractor that you won't regret. How to avoid losing money on your next big project.
This is News 13 Now, coverage you can count on.
Still ahead here on News 13, today's in-studio interview about hiring the right contractor.
We'll tell you what to watch for to be sure you don't lose a big investment in a new project.
And joining us this morning is Sean King. He's the author of The Ultimate Guide to Hiring the Right Contractor. And you wrote this book because a lot of people just kind of get in trouble with contractors.
Too many people are just too trusting out there. You know, the guy pulls up in a shiny truck, business card, he's well-groomed. They figure, this guy's the best contractor ever, and it's just not necessarily the case. So I wrote the book to help as many homeowners as I possibly can.
We never have authors on the show but this is like actual information.
And it is, and it's pretty timely because you still get some folks rebuilding from the hurricane, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. They always sound good at the beginning, right?
Well, they always put their best foot forward naturally. They're trying to secure some money and get the project. It's down the line, and unfortunately, most people find out that they hired the wrong contractor when it's too late. The best time to know it's the wrong contractor is when you're vetting them, when you're selecting them, obviously, so you can move on to the next candidate.
Yeah, so contractors are a pretty big source of complaints.
Sure.
But there are three things. There's some basics. There are a lot more.
There's 25 deal breakers in the book, but there's a top 3 mistakes we tend to find homeowners make when they hire the wrong contractor. Mistake number 1. Not pre-screening your contractor. With the technology available today, as soon as you get their info, jump online, check them out. Angie's List, BBB, Google, and Yelp, but pay special attention to how they handle and resolve any of their complaints.
How they resolve complaints.
The complaints,
and
huge
you can
deal.
Find it right online.
It's everything at the tip of your fingers.
Yeah.
Mistake number 2, not getting a written on-time finish guarantee. Almost no one asks for this. You want to know exactly how long your project's going to take to complete before it's even started. We've all heard the horror stories where the contractor says, don't worry about it, kitchen will be done in 2-3 weeks. You're like, oh, that's awesome. But then 5 months later, your kitchen's still not done, and you're outside washing your dishes with a garden hose. That happened to a woman in Boston. A Coleman cooler and a garden hose, Brandon.
This is why he brings the visuals, folks.
That's right. That was her kitchen sink.
Doing your dishes outside.
In New England.
With this.
The weather was not conducive to it. It's like this every day in New England.
Nobody wants to do that.
Exactly. And then the third and biggest mistake that we tend to find is getting ahead of your payment schedule. You and your contractor need to establish a specific payment schedule prior to starting the job, but as the homeowner, it's up to you to stick to it. As soon as you get ahead on payments with your contractor, all bets are off. You've lost any control or leverage that you might have had in the project. He's not going to determine when or even if your project gets completed. You give him all the money, where's his incentive to come back and complete the job?
Gotcha. So you lose leverage in that way.
You have zero leverage at that point.
Right. What would you recommend? Because lots of folks out there want to get some amount of payment.
Correct. Our company takes no money until the project's done, but that's very rare.
Okay.
Typically, they're going to need some sort of deposit. But what you don't want to do is let them dictate it. So if they want a third down before they start, a third once they do start, and a third when it's done, you can't give them 2/3 of the money when they show up with a hammer. So you tell them, I'm uncomfortable with that. I like everything else in the contract, but I like to stage it this way. 5 or 10% down. 5 or 10% at certain stages. Here's the key. You need to hold back at least 50% of the money until it's 100% completed. If you don't do that, you've got no control over your project.
Gotcha.
This is your castle.
Yeah.
You need to protect it.
Good advice there. And you have an acronym you like to use.
I do. The right formula.
Yes.
R, referral. Best place to start your contractor search is with a referral from someone that you know and trust. I, investigate. Get those referrals, but you need to check them out, not just review sites. Reach out to some of their previous customers. Were they happy with the process? Do they love the finished product? Would they hire them again? G, get it in writing. You need everything in writing. You need to keep the paperwork. H, have a voice, but you need to use it. First sign your product's going sideways, you need to speak up and let him know. He needs to address your concerns. And T, trust your gut. You're sitting across the table from that contractor, Brandon. Your gut's telling you something doesn't seem right, or maybe the deal seems too good to be true. Do not hire him. There are hundreds of contractors here in this area. Just move on to the next candidate.
Okay. And that's pretty good. So you guys can see they're watching it on
R-I-G-H-T. Follow it and you'll be fine.
Okay. We're going to put those 3 tips that you mentioned along with this right philosophy on our website, WBTW.com, right after the show.
Great.
And of course, as you mentioned, there's more
in the book, and you can get the book on Amazon.com. It's a bestseller.
Hard to find someone who follows every single thing in here.
It is. It's a daunting task, but if you do find him, you've hired the right guy no matter what.
All right. Good to know. Thank you so much,
Thanks
Sean.
for having me, Brandon.
Really appreciate it.
Great to be here.